Hello, welcome to Return to Self. My name's Alana, and if we haven't met before, then it's lovely to meet you. Now, today I thought I'd tap into the collective consciousness and speak a bit about the new energies that are starting to come through for this astrological year. Basically, I'm feeling like this energy is really fast paced in comparison to last year, which tended to be slower paced. I think last year was the year of the snake from memory, and I think that there was a lot of shedding of the shadow side, shedding of identities and things like that, allowing people to come into a greater sense of purpose and alignment. So what I did was sit down and pulled out 6 cards. The first card was the Ace of Pentacles. The second card was the Knight of Swords. The third card was the Three of Pentacles, the Two of Wands, and the next one after that was the Fool. I might just pull one more. I think I was meant to pull 6, but I've only pulled 5 here. Just give me 1 second. All right, so the last card here is the Page of Cups. So it's really interesting. What I can see is that for this collective, you've actually been doing a lot of internal work, I think. I'm getting the words resources. So I think that you guys have been building skills, talents, and resources that you can utilize as you move into this year. And like I said, the energy is a lot faster paced. So what I can see here is that those resources that you've been building, I think will now start to be utilized this year. What I do see in this Ace of Pentacles here is a rock that's actually covering what looks to be lots of gold sort of looking objects. The sense that I get is that richness that you've developed, those skills, those talents, those lessons that you've learned from. I really feel like this year they will start to be used in some way, and they'll help to aid you in your purpose. But interestingly, what I can see is what looks like a boulder that's kind of blocking some of these resources. And to me, this feels like it's some sort of emotional block. Now, on this card, what I can see is a moon that's kind of sprinkling dust or something like that. And to me, it almost feels like the universe is helping to sprinkle energy down into your body that's helping you to remove these blockages that are basically preventing you from fully moving into that life purpose. They're giving you the words magician as well. So I think that you're doing a lot of that shamanic kind of work, internal transformation type work. And obviously, as you do this work, you will find blockages. They're definitely saying to me that these things are blocking you from pursuing your passions, your talents and things like that as well. They're saying that it's made up of sort of like behaviors and things like that that might be preventing you, I think, from taking off in a sense. So I think each person's blockage is probably going to be unique to them. Obviously, though, it's something that's being experienced by a lot of people, or it probably wouldn't be coming up in this reading. So it might be a good chance to do some meditation to really tap into your inner child, to tap into sensations of pain and things like that in your chakras, and to try and learn a bit about what that blockage is for you. The next card after that, we have the Knight of Swords, and I definitely feel with this one that it's that sensation of charging ahead. What I'm seeing a lot of emphasis on is a knight that's wearing a blue cape, and feels like there's a lot of communication going on. They're also showing me a frilled neck lizard, and the frilled neck lizard to me always means self-esteem and boundaries. So you might find at the moment that you're communicating your boundaries, setting boundaries and things like that as well. I feel like you know intuitively that you need to set these boundaries. I'm also getting behavior modifications. I think that this could be implying that maybe setting boundaries is modifying other people's behavior. I'm also getting the words problems as well. And I'm seeing what looks like a kind of a chair of some sort. Maybe in the past, people have been lacking in the ability to, or perhaps willingness to kind of set those boundaries, and have perhaps been more passive observers of boundary violations and things like that is what I'm feeling. I feel that you have learnt a lot of lessons in relation to this, probably over the past 18 months or so, they're saying. And I think that the spirit is kind of helping to support you in relation to these changes and things like that. They are also saying to me listening as well. So I think that a lot of you might be starting to receive messages, particularly in relation to behaviors, they're saying. settling, I guess, in situations where it's not honoring your needs and things like that, is the impression that I'm getting here. The next one after this is really interesting. So we've moved from, your talent, skills and resources and that proactive attempt to go after your goals. And we move into more of a kind of collective consciousness here. And it's the Three of Pentacles. The focus is really on these three women and the world globes. What I feel like is that each person in this collective, whether you're female or not, I don't think it really matters. I think it's more just about the feminine energy in itself. I can definitely see that there's women grouping together now. So it's basically about using your own unique set of talents and gifts and things like that. I think to help in terms of the collective, basically, helping the collective to move forwards. I really think that your healing energies are really needed right now, and that this is probably a big part of divine timing. I feel like gaining momentum in terms of people coming to that point where they're really ready to utilize their unique talents and things like that to help the greater collective. They're saying to me, by helping the greater collective, we're helping the frequency of the collective to increase. And I think that we're sort of providing energetic steps that other people can then use to increase their own frequency in that sense. They're seeking the validation as well. So this could also be in relation to light workers and things like that, actually sort of speaking out or starting to kind of come out of their shells and actually validating a lot of other people's experiences. So perhaps there's people out there coming into their own spiritual gifts and things like that. And you're actually, I think, helping to validate those people's experiences. And obviously the flow-on effect of that is really important. By being you and by speaking your truth and by teaching what you can teach, you're helping the collective. Like I said, it's going to be individual and unique to each person, but I think that your role is really essential in the world at the moment. They're giving you the words self-esteem and believing. So I very much think that this is about helping to increase people's self-esteem. A lot of people out there, they're saying feel broken. And I think that you are kind of here to help in some way, help them to address some of those sort of wounds and things like that. And perhaps they haven't had the skills or the knowledge to do this. They're sort of showing me a bird that looks like it's kind of got a broken wing or something like that. And I think what you're doing is actually helping to nurse people through situations. I think it's only because you have that gentleness about you and that real genuine empathy about you that you're actually able to achieve that. They're just giving you the word surrender to. So it's important that you surrender to this process as much as you can, especially as your own gifts and things like that start to become magnified. After that, we have the Two of Wands, and that's basically about long-term plans. This isn't the pre-contemplative stage. This is the stage where you have decided what you want to do in your life and you're proactively taking steps now or recognize the need to take proactive steps in achieving your goals. And they're showing me the deer, which to me always means masculine energy. So I think that you are really utilizing more of that sort of masculine, creative, fiery kind of energy right now. And after that, we have the Fool. And what I saw with this is that you've basically embarked on this new journey, I think. It's very different to what you have previously done in your life. I feel like you are departing largely from what you have done previously. The reason that you're doing this is because you have amassed all of these skills and talents and things like that you can now use in pursuit of your life purpose, basically. Now I think you're ready to use these skills, and I think you're really ready to come out of your shell in a sense. And you're just now kind of taking those steps, I guess, to achieve whatever your unique goals are for you. They are showing me the rabbit as well, so there might be a bit of fear and anxiety around what steps to take in relation to this. Perhaps you've had setbacks in the past, perhaps you've tried and you feel like you've failed. But I think that this is just about taking a step forward. You don't need to know every single step along the way. You just need to take a step, because I feel like once you take a step, the next thing you need to do will reveal itself. So know that it's natural to feel that natural hesitation and fear, but don't let it stop you from doing what you need to do. I very much think that a lot of this work, whatever you're doing, is going to be in relation to emotions. There's a lot of moon symbols in these cards, and I'm definitely getting focused on these. So I feel like this collective is probably helping people with emotional healing. It feels less physical and a lot more psychological and emotional. The last card that we have here is the Page of Cups. And this is basically a sense of emotional fulfillment, but it's very much in its early stages. I think that you have this intention, this idea, this dream that you would like to achieve, that you know will be emotionally fulfilling for you in some way. And you're kind of asking for guidance and advice in relation to how this is all going to pan out. Focus in this card is actually on the page, which looks like a young boy. And what I do see here is that sort of innocent kind of energy. And I think that this is that childlike innocence, a new goal, a new pursuit, and things like that. It definitely feels kind of new. So this is not something that you've done in a large way previously. Maybe you've done it a tiny little bit, but this is not something that you are well versed at, shall we say. You've got the skills there, but you don't think you've utilized them before. And again, I'm seeing a fish here as well, and it's very emotional. So whatever the work is that I think you're doing is based around emotional healing, whether it's counseling, whether it's Reiki and things like that. But it will be focused on emotions, I think, in a lot of ways. And like I said, that will come out for each of you in your own unique way. I might just pull out a couple of more cards. Just give me a second. They're just showing me an owl at the moment as well. So it's definitely important to be using your intuition and following the intuitive guidance. Okay. So the card that we've pulled up here, I might do another one as well. Deception and envy. So I suspect that there might be people in your energy field, I guess, perhaps people that you've not so much in contact with anymore, that are secretly watching you. I feel like these people have been masked. The card says deception and envy, and I do get this really sort of like envious feeling. So I feel like people are kind of watching you and waiting to see what happens in terms of whether you achieve your goals. I think that they're secretly jealous of you. I don't think that they have the kind of ability to take the risks that you're willing to take. I think that these people have been very masked, and I think that their masks are now starting to show basically, whereas they may have been covering a lot of this stuff previously. Just be really careful about who you keep in your energy field. I would definitely be staying away from people who are critical, who are attempting to put you down, or if you just feel like there's a negative energy around them, I would definitely be staying away. The last card here that we have is light, and I think the reason that they are jealous is because your frequency is actually starting to really sort of increase. I think that they are jealous because their shadow sides, they haven't been dealing with them particularly well, haven't had the ability to deal with those energies. Perhaps they haven't had the awareness to be able to deal with their own shadow side. But what I see here is you guys reaching for the stars. It feels like you're reaching for higher consciousness. You're reaching for something better. So for a lot of you wanting some sort of change in your life, they're saying to me that you have aspirations and things like that, that you're willing to go after. And that connection with the universe and that willingness to work on your own shadow side is helping to fill you with light, basically. And I think that situations in your life, circumstances and things like that will very much start to change this year. I do see a wolf as well. So for a lot of you, you are probably alone at the moment in the sense that you might not have a lot of natural kind of support around you. You might be listening to things like this channeled reading for a bit of emotional support because you're not finding that in the outside world. There's something with the words of validation as well. So perhaps there's a lot of people in your life at the moment who aren't really validating you, or you feel like you need emotional validation. But I very much feel like you are highly attuned and highly connected to the spiritual realms. I definitely see that you are doing healing work. Just concentrate on you, remove yourself from those sort of more negative energies, and just concentrate on your own healing and what you know intuitively you need to be doing. All right then, well, I hope that this has helped in some way, shape or form. If you could please leave any comments, thoughts, ideas down below in the comments section. If you could please like and subscribe if you find these channeled readings useful, that would be great. All right, thanks for that. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.